Good morning. This is Sadi Phayet, and welcome to my channel. While you're here, please like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my channel, and leave a comment to let me know what you think of my content, okay? Please remember that I have ebooks for sale on Amazon under Sadi Phayet, ranging in price from $1.50 to $6.99. So check that out when you get a chance, and thank you in advance for your support. So I'm coming on today. I haven't done a video. I need to start doing at least one video per day just to build up my channel and to keep my content fresh and relevant. I am currently building things up where I have playlists. And so I do want to create content where things are in series, where I have series of talks. Today, I'm also going to, what is this? Today, I'm also going to read 3 of my poems that have to do with love, because just as a way of reinforcing what I talk about, but also sharing some of my works. So, anywho, the topic today is the journey to love, the friendship paradigm. And that friendship, when it comes to love, is very important to me. I'm not the type of woman that has chased down love for love's sake. Like everyone that I meet, I'm looking to be in love with. Even when I was a teenager, if I liked a boy, I just liked him. Like, it usually was because of his physicality. And I was such a virgin. Like, I was not gonna have sex with him. I was not ever in danger of him tricking me or convincing me to do anything, because my father was a police officer and had just told us so many pitfalls when it came to teenage boys. And he was so intimidating to the boys anyway. So if they came on our porch to chat with us or whatever, if he came home, mm, he would not even speak to them. They would, speak to him and be very respectful, but he would just give them one look from beneath his Harley Davidson riding sunglasses, because he rode a Harley Davidson um, along with having a luxury car. So he wasn't trying to be their friend. He wasn't even trying to be friendly toward them. And so I took that as my uh, template for how I should also view them, regardless of the fact that I was so attracted to boys. I was boy crazy in my mind, but I was not a tool. I was always a rebel. I was always a fighter. And so I just, I had boys that were friends that I grew up with, and that we were just friends. And I think because of that, I was able, and then my cousins, I was able to see them just for who they were. I had a lot of male cousins, and I talked smack with them. You know what I mean? They would challenge me and tease me if I was gonna cry because someone had hurt my feelings, and I would try so hard not to. So I never had a perception about boys and men where I was a victim to them, or where, God, I was just like, right, just in love, had this love idea that I think a lot of girls and women are raised, with. Oh, make sure you're accommodating type of things, and make sure you listen to him. Uh, you need to know how to cook because you're going to take care of a man. My parents didn't teach us that way, and they had 6 girls. We were not raised with that kind of teaching. My father told us verbally and directly that he wanted us to be like my mother and her sisters because they were very elegant women, um, and also very educated, you know. Uh, yeah, just I don't even know how to describe. Definitely, I mean, from Black culture, this word has to do with snooty, but bougie, just that there was a certain standard, a high standard for the way you should conduct yourself, the way you should live, the way your home should be. That you should have the best home, even if it's humble. It should look the best. It should have the best things. And so they were the type of women that got respect just from walking in the room, just from existing. And that's what my father's standard for us was. And so, and then we had my mother as the example of that standard. So I'm saying that to say that what I learned, was it in undergrad? It might have been during my undergrad. I went back to school after the recession hit, and I found myself a single mother. And for none of the companies that had always hounded me down to hire me were calling anymore. And I've experienced that consistently, even up till now, that I don't get a lot of job offers. Um, but definitely before I got my education, I was not getting, a lot of attention on the employment front. And so I decided to go back to school, and I think I took a philosophy course I called the Enlightenment, because I took a lot of literature courses. But the Enlightenment had to do with, or it might have even been during my master's. Yeah, it was during my master's. I'm sorry. Not my master's of arts, but my graduate certificate in English. But the Enlightenment had to do with a period of time in European history where the leaders of, was it England? I don't remember what country it was. Was it Germany? I'm not sure. But um, European rulers had contrived a movement so that basically to manipulate the people into seeking more satisfaction in life, regardless of their lot. So, a lot of the people that were brought on board to come up with the dictates of this movement were brought on board to say that you're supposed to have a spiritual understanding and acceptance in life, so that no matter what you have or don't have, you're content, right? And of course, in all movements, you're going to find the rebel. There's going to be one that actually does go deeper into it than what the intention and the initial intention was for this thrust. And so Aristotle was that person. I think he took his lead from Plato, which I haven't read a lot of Aristotle or Plato because I think the root of their philosophies were African derived. They studied in Egypt or got their teachings from Egyptian or African thought, but which is not, shared widely. So, anywho, what I learned though that blew my mind in some of the philosophers' essays were that the quality for any type of enlightenment or disposition toward peace or disposition toward having an awakened mind, or a mind that's always seeking more truth, more understanding, more freedom of thought and freedom of living, right? Because that was the purpose, is to be free in your mind, even if your body was not, even if your lifestyle had you confined to poverty, your mind could be free. I mean, if that's not the highest form of slavery. Oh my God. Well, not the highest form, because, anywho, that's a whole nother talk about slavery, but that's a slavery. You know what I mean? That is definitely slave teaching. But like I said, there were certain philosophers that went deeper, whose philosophy was deeper, right? Because there were others who were basically helping the people to understand that slavery for Africans was a justified condition, and help because it helped their economy grow, the Europeans. Then they had to come up with a philosophy that justified it, even on the part of the African, by pointing out the differences in African people's lifestyles and belief systems, uh, being inferior to Europeans, and that's why it was justified. Or just all kinds of madness of, oh, look what they do, oh my God, look how they whatever. And so that was like uh, the doctrine of the savage that needed European religious saving. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, anywho, Aristotle, what I learned in this course that was the most eye opening, which I wish I had had all my life, was Aristotle's essay on friendship. Because in this essay, and all of the philosophers that basically ventured into true enlightenment, God was always at the root of it. You know what I mean? It's like that unrelenting, uncompromising love for truth and God was at the root of true philosophy, the true freedom path for human beings. Okay? So Aristotle had in his essay 3 different types of friendship that he emulated, and it at the same time that it excited me because it gave me the power now to actually choose the best type of friendship, it also broke my heart that I had experienced the worst type of friendship for most of my life, for most of my friendships and most of my family relationships. I had had the best type the least amount and the worst type the most amount, but not today. Okay, I totally spun that as soon as I learned about it. So that's what I wanted to talk about is, that we are not born to be victims of this realm, of this place that we're living, this physical universe. We're not born for that. That may be a part of our challenge. That may be a part of the struggle of this life, is to figure out, what am I here for? Am I just falling for gain? In the Black community, when it comes to male female relationships, especially where men have the upper hand of manipulating women for whatever they want to get from them, that's called game. And there's a saying that says, don't hate the player, hate the game. But if I hate the game, I should hate the player, because you're coming in to do damage deliberately. You're coming in to do harm deliberately. It's a deliberate, wrongful act that you're propagating against, or you would wish to propagate against me or anyone else. So I have to hate the player if I hate the game. That's the truth of it. So, but that's going to be another talk. Is about the game. Um, this is about, the friendship paradigm. And friendship, in relationship, because it's about the journey to love. So in any love relationship or any energy of love, friendship is the best root of it. I watch a lot of reality TV, not because I'm naturally attracted to it. If anything, I'm naturally averse to it because there's so the behavior and the quality of content is so low down. Like there's almost no, you can't even have an educated mind. Even if you're self-educated, you cannot have a quality lifestyle and really enjoy reality TV because they want the worst of behaviors to be exhibited there because it's the drama of life, of a low vibrational life. And to emulate that almost proves the point that, you know, certain types of people are just savages or this is why. You know what I mean? I can't deal with Black people or Hispanic people or poor people or whatever your stereotype is for certain levels of human beings. And so, yeah, it's terrible. But at the same time that I eschew that behavior, we also cannot rise above the condition of other human beings because we're human beings. And what we see in them is potentially also in us. Not even potentially, it's in us. And we could live that way potentially if we take on certain characteristics and or fall victim to what we don't know. Ignorance should be a sin. I've said this since, I went through a very difficult time in my life where I came to the conclusion that ignorance or naivety should also be a sin because great harm comes when you don't know what you're dealing with, when you don't know what red flags for certain behaviors look like or even feel like. If you have confusing, this is a whole nother talk, but this is just an aside. If you have confusing feelings about someone you're in a relationship with, that's a red flag that something's not right, and maybe you should pump the brakes. And actually, you should pump the brakes and do some investigation. Like, totally. People tell on themselves on social media so thoroughly. Because social media is a hideout place for married men, taken men, you know, down low men, abusive men. The people show themselves so freely on social media, on the internet, in a way that they can't show themselves in real life. They do. But if you're caught up in I want, see, when we're caught up in but I want a husband, but I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in love. I want so badly, I want. Then you're going to overlook a lot. Because I've always been friends with men, I didn't look to overlook their frailties. I didn't. That wasn't my goal. I knew what I was looking at when I was looking at it. I would take it straight to them and let them know I'm not the type of person that you're going to be cheating on, and I'm going to be sitting here taking it just to let you know. And they would never believe me because I had a innocent or sweet face. I had a pretty face that was sweet. There was a sweetness to my demeanor, but there was fire in my heart. And unfortunately, you can't really see the heart unless you're looking, unless you have clarity, unless you're really trying to see and appreciate a person. You're not going to see what they are, just like a woman who just wants a relationship is not going to see the men she's getting involved with clearly. Okay? So the first type of friendship that Aristotle talked about is a friendship of utility. Sorry. And a friendship of utility has to do with when I have a need. If you're the type of person I can call on every time I have a need and you show up, that's why you're my friend. Not because it's mutual, not because we enjoy each other's company so much that we're always in each other's pockets. You know, those kind of best friends that are hardly inseparable. Everything they like it mutually. Like if they're the type that like to party, but then they also keep each other um, uh, accountable with their goals, things like that. I've seen that mostly in men, in male friendships. You know, I've seen articles where there'll be three friends that grew up from childhood and they kept each other focused through school, even though they didn't have much at home, but they were determined to make it out of a poor environment or a dangerous environment or whatever their motivation was. And they said, okay, we're all going to be doctors, right? Or we're all going to be lawyers, or we're all going to be successful businessmen. You go into this field, I'll go into this field, that one goes into this field. And throughout their life, they kept each other focused on their goals and successful no matter what, right? And they stayed in each other's lives and they raised their children together, things like that. Those types of friends are not what I'm talking about. Those are the best types of friends. But the type of friend that when you're a utility friend, it's just where you've stumbled, if you're a user, if you're the type of human being that uses others without any remorse, freely, openly, and often, you are always on the lookout for the type of friendship of utility. You always want to have those types of friends in your life. Those are the friends that are natural givers. And whether they were the oldest in their family, so they were used to taking care of siblings and helping their parents, or they just have that kind of heart, you know what I mean? And they didn't get a lot of guidance from their parents to watch out for people that would use, you know, your giving heart, or even if they were warned and didn't take heed, whatever the reason, they're now in the world and being used. They're being used by the men that they date. They get used by their girlfriends, you know, because when it comes to going out and having fun when you're young, there has to be somebody to drive because, you know, these days you can't drink and drive. You go to jail, you can lose your license, all that. Back in the day, the things we did, oh my God, we're lucky to be alive, right? So that utility friend is going to be the one that goes only so he or she can drive everybody else who gets to have fun. And this person never gets to have fun because they just feel lucky they get to be around these people that are so popular or so likable or so beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe have more money than he or she does. Whatever the what does Dr. Phil call it? Whatever the payoff, right? This utility friend is getting or feels like they're getting, they're really not getting a payoff. They're really not getting anything out of it. They're just being used. And so when you're that kind of friend, or maybe whenever your friends have emotional drama, so this would be the type of woman who has women friends. And this is why I always have male friends, because even if, yeah, when you're just a friend with a guy, he's not running your pockets. He saves that for the women that he schmoozes. You know what I mean? That he's playing, that he's running game on. He's not going to have that in a friendship usually. Not unless it's like, you know, anyway, I'm jumping ahead. And I always do that. That's probably my Pisces stuff, but sorry. But I'm saying that to say that a lot of times with women, you have that friend that you can call up and cry about your male problems, and they're going to be on your side. You're going to complain about who other friends, other female friends that talks behind your back, and they're going to be on your side, may even get into arguments with the person that wronged you and lose that friendship themselves. And then you'll end up forgiving the one that talks behind your back, but the one that talks behind your back will never forgive the friendship of utility that you have that came and cursed them out on your behalf. And you'll be just fine with that. I mean, just messiness, right? That you have no problem bringing into the life of a decent person who's just loyal. Yeah. Friendships of utility, there's no justice in it. There's no balance in it. There's no equal give and take. Those are those kind of friends. Okay? You have to be mindful who you're becoming friends with, because there are a lot of users, there are a lot of takers in this world. And unless you're seeking reciprocity in all things, in all interactions, you have to be mindful. You have to be awake to the fact that there are people that make friends with people like you just because of what you can do for them, what benefit they get from you. Maybe you're the type of person that's so kind-hearted, but you're also so well known. You know people of all kinds of endeavors and careers and backgrounds, and they like you. Naturally, you're likable, and so someone wants to be friends with you because of that, because they want to make some contacts that you know. They want to use you for that. No, that's a friendship of utility. Okay? They'll never do that for you. They will never do that for you, ever. Even if you need it one day. Hey, do you know somebody in this field? I'm looking to, upgrade my business in this type of way. No. Oh, they'll find some excuse. Well, I did, but I haven't talked to them in so long. I don't feel comfortable. Really? Stop. In business, there is no, I don't feel comfortable reaching back to an old contact. If you're really successful in business, that you're not fearful like that. You will reach back to a contact, catch up with them, especially if it has to do with your business. So it will behoove you, if you really want to have good contacts and good friends in business, that you will make those sacrifices for other people too, because then they'll also do favors for you. Again, if you're seeking reciprocal connections, which you should be, you should only be seeking that. You should never be looking for connections where people are just using you, nor where you're just using others, because that karma is going to come back and bite you in the ass. It will. Karma is always working. Okay. So anywho, when it comes to relationships, yes, the same thing is even more important, because you're talking about the propensity of bringing people into your personal space. If you have children around your children, we cannot afford in this late day and time, 2020, to make connections of any kind with people that we would bring around our families, bring around our children, just having our personal space. You've seen, there's so many. Look, we have the crime channel. Excuse me. We have the crime channel. We have shows called Snapped. People you thought you knew who just snapped one day. Come on. So much drug abuse, so much mental illness, where you don't even know someone has mental illness conditions, or what is it called? Yeah, who are bipolar, schizophrenic, because they take medication. They know how to hold it down just to get through a work day. You think they'll know how to hold it down for a few months in relationship with you? And I respect Steve Harvey so much, but there's a principle that he ascribes to when it comes to women finding true love and a real connection instead of falling for game. And it's called the 90-day rule, where you vow and stick to the vow of not having sexual relations with a man until after 90 days. And during the 90 days, you're supposed to be getting to know each other personally in depth, finding out if your goals are compatible. Let me tell you something. Game is so deep today because, and this is the reason I say that theory is not going to work. Not every time. Yes, if you're dealing with a sincere person and you're a sincere person, you're both looking for love and relationship and marriage and family, yes, that may work because you have two mutually involved people on the same path, doing the exercise for the same reasons. That's not a random thing, though. But I'm always saying love is not random, it's specific. And every woman and every man that would discipline themselves will not discipline themselves for every other random person. It is not that. Love is not random. You're not going to fall in love with everybody. I don't love everybody. I don't. I don't care how fine, and I love a fine man. Oh, I appreciate it. But I don't love them all. Some people are just fine, you know? So, what was I saying? Um, I know I was talking about the friendship of utility. So, yeah, 90 days, please. A man would have a plethora or another person. They gonna be having sex with somebody else for 90 days is all that means to me. So could a woman. That just means you're not sleeping with the person you're dating that you're supposedly really trying to get to know. But you sleeping with other people, you sleeping with somebody. You haven't taken a vow of chastity and shit. You've just vowed that you all won't have sex for 90 days. But that goes even along the line of not knowing their true character for 90 days. Not knowing if they're a cheater, a beater, or a child molester. I'm gonna write a book called Cheaters, Beaters, and Child Molesters. I'm sorry. That's another conversation. But I got into a debate with an associate that from religion that I had known in organized religion. And right, she was still just spouting the dictates of religion that don't really go into depth with how do you find true love. Religion itself is just the standard of God that we're supposed to begin on and then master. But in that mastery, after we master, make sure you live this way, master the dictates or the laws of righteous living, we should be looking for deeper enlightenment or connection with God, with our source, right? But she was stuck on just the structure, the words of the structure, and that what really becomes just rhetoric if it's a shallow understanding. And my point was that's not going to keep you safe from what the world brings in, because the world comes into religion. The world is in religion. Everything you have in the world is in religion. You could meet somebody in the church, in the mosque, in the synagogue who is on drugs, and you would never know because they've mastered appearances. They have on the cloak of Christianity, the cloak of Islam. They wear the cloak of Judaism, okay? But inside is this monster from the world that you know nothing of. And even if you follow all the steps, even if they get their family, friends, past loves to to give a contrived testimony of their sparkling character that never existed. You will never know until your ass knows. And then when you know, it's too late. You've already, reaped some of the damage, even if just for a moment, because what they actually were scared you so bad you hightailed it out of there. Great, right? but you still have the experience of not knowing what you were really involved with. 90 days doesn't do it. Friendship is important because in friendship, and that's a requirement for me. I'm not getting into a relationship with you unless we have an established friendship. And I'm not talking about an online friendship because that's the same as what is a 90 days with whoever. You don't know who the hell this person really is. You don't. Energetically, do you pick up on people's energy even online? You do. I bear witness to that. I have friends right now on my writer's page that I would love to be friends with in real life. Because right now it's not real life. We just co-sign each other a lot. You know what I mean? We seem to have a lot in common. That's a good basis. It is. you know Same thing with some of the dudes that's on social media, that's on my writer's page. I know who would absolutely get on my nerves in real life, but they fine. And I know who would be cool to get to know more in real life because we already cool. You know what I mean? And I already know, even apart with the ones that I'm cool with, I already sense what their weaknesses are. If they're a player in real life, I can feel it. I mean, I'm 53, but even at 18, I knew what I was looking at most times. Not all the times, because I was, raised in a very, in a pretty, not very, but somewhat of a sheltered life. But, my parents let us loose at a certain age, and we had to make it happen. We had to learn our way, and hope we didn't get jacked up in the process. But yeah, that first, I think the cure for the friendship of utility is making sure you're forming a friendship, that you're actually letting this person know we have to be friends. Even if I don't even really want to date you in the classical sense of let's go on romantic dates. I'd rather get to know you first. I'd rather just be friends with you. What do you like to do? What do we have in common? These are the things I like to do. What do you like to do? And not that I want somebody to fake the funk and pretend like they like what I like. Mm-mm. You'll find out, pretty quick, if you have things in common or not. And then that's good. But I would say pursue friendship more than pursuing love relationships with total strangers. You can't fall in love with someone that you just met 30 days after just meeting them, and you're not friends with them. You don't have an easy rapport. Sometimes that does happen, but it's very rare. And it really has to do with the disposition of the two people, the authenticity, that they each have in being themselves. Because when you're just yourself, any stranger you meet, you feel like a friend with, because you're just open, you're just transparent in your own mode of living. But so many people, most people wear masks. Okay. And if you can't get beyond the mask, you don't know this motherfucker. You do not know him or her. If what they say and do is phony, feels phony, you don't know them. I don't care if they try and make it sound as authentic as they can. You do not know them. If it's so hard to get to a natural flow with them, it's because they're wearing a mask. And you need to know that. Okay? They're getting involved with you for something they want. And you need to act upon those red flags. Stop trying to push them under the rug because you want a relationship. Don't do that. So, anyway, the second kind or type of friendship is a friendship of pleasure. And I want to make an aside on this one because what grown ass folks need to know, this is the type of friendship you have when you're very young, from childhood through only young adulthood. Should you be making these kinds of friends? You should not be making these kinds of friends when you're really grown. Mm-mm. This is a friendship of pleasure. A friendship of pleasure is when you're friends with someone because they always know the best places to party. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are the turn up kings and queens. They're the ones that the party is surrounded around. They're the life of the party. They're the ones that are buying all the drinks and getting everybody drunk, and y'all kicking it. You having the most fun. You friends with people like that, that's friendships of pleasure. When they go through something hard, you're not there for them. You don't even want to know unless it has to do with the party. That's a friendship of pleasure. It's pure. It's only about having a good time. If this is the person who's the funniest woman, the funniest dude you ever met, you got to have them at all your parties. They're gonna have everybody laughing, and that's all you want to know about them. That's all you ever want to deal with them on. That's a friendship of pleasure. Very shallow energy. Very shallow. But when you go through something real, tragedy, death in the family, uh, anything where you might need help, they are not there. They never will be. But what they will say is, all right, I'm sorry about your mom, but as soon as you're feeling better, come on and get back with us. We would love to see you back in the party. We miss because you fun, man. You fun. This person is brokenhearted because they just lost the closest person to them, their mother or their father or a sibling or a friend. You're not a friend. You're not a real friend. And you should know that. Those are not the people you can rely on. So don't go to them for help when you need it. That's the purpose of having this kind of information. So you can categorize the associations you have in your life. You can deliberately draw to you the type of energy in human contact that you absolutely want. You can make deliberate choices. That's the power. That's the purpose of this. This is what this gave me. And ever since, I've been making the best choices. I only make the best choices. As soon as I feel like someone is the type of person that will be an emotional vampire, I distance myself. I shut my energy down. And we can only, especially if it's on social media, even on social media, I'm not open to everybody's energy. I'm not. I'm not. If it's not organic, I don't fuck with it. And even if there's an organic, like chemistry, friendship, even just friendship, I'm not even talking about love. I don't go on social media going, ooh, look at all these people, all my friends as they find, who do I want to fall in love with? I don't do, no shenanigans. I don't. But even if it's just a friendly connection, the ones that have the potential for anything long lasting, even if it's just that we would be friends the rest of our life, you know what I mean? That would manifest, that would show. If someone drops off and you never hear from them again, thank God for that, because you don't know what they really were. And usually they fall off because of what they really are. Okay? Don't go chasing after people that disappear. They disappeared for a reason. Leave them in that, yeah, leave them there where they disappeared to and keep living your life. What comes to us, what we're meant for, will come to us and stay. We don't have to contrive or control any part of it. We don't have to try and control another person and make them what we want them to be. None of that. Because a true person in love who is going to be our best friend or really have a deep friendship with us is going to happen naturally. They're going to stay naturally. They're going to want to be with us naturally. It's not ever something we have to force. That's the truth of it. But we're taught so much poison growing up, or we see so much poison in the relationships around us, in our parents, in our stepfathers, with our mothers, or stepmothers with our fathers, in our aunts and uncles and cousins and neighbors, that we think this is just the shit. This is just how it is. This is just what love is, right? And some of the most toxic people believe that. They believe, toxic people, ooh, believe that this is what love is. Love is whatever I bring to you. You love me, I love you, we accept whatever each other has. If you're a chronic cheater, you can't control your private parts to save your life, but someone falls in love with you, they should accept you for that. Bullshit. Aristotle says it's a choice. You get the power of choice. You get the power to choose. If I'm not a cheater, I don't want a cheater. If I'm not cheating on you, you don't get to cheat on me and I stay with you. You may cheat on me before I know you, that's who you are, but I won't stay with you. If I'm not beating you up, if I'm not causing you harm, you don't get to lay a finger on me. I don't give a fuck what's wrong with you. If I don't curse you out in public, if I don't talk to you crazy, don't talk to me crazy. If you are challenged with being able to respect someone in close proximity, then keep it pushing until you find somebody like you. Because that's not me. Does that mean I'm perfect? No. No, it doesn't. You know? But what we do most of the time is who we are. So if most of the time you're unstable, that's who the fuck you are. That's what the fuck you are. If most of the time you have an even keel, you know what I mean? You're chill, you know how to, you're stable, you do things in a routine fashion, you're reliable, you're dependable, that's who you are. But sometimes you let the ball drop because you just get overwhelmed with other people's crap and trying to help people. No, that just means you got tired, and you should, because you ain't here to carry everybody. Okay? Um, So friendships of pleasure are temporary things most of the time, because that's not something you can maintain over a lifetime. I only want you if you're happy. I only want you when you're fun. That's not somebody that really cares about you. They don't. Even if they're family, they don't. Because as soon as you have a problem and they're not there for you, that tells you what they think about you. That tells you what they feel about you, even if you've always been there for them. This is a universal principle. These are universal principles. This covers all relationships. And once I got this lesson, I'm telling you, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care who you are. Parents, siblings, cousins, lifelong friends, new connections, colleagues, children. Okay? Now, my children, I'm a lot more forgiving with, because, they're dependent on me and they came from me. And so a lot of their issues are either from me, or because of things that they were exposed to that I didn't block efficiently. Okay, so let's see. But yeah, friendships of pleasure. That's for very young people. You know, when you at your hoeing, you're sowing your wild oats. You're in the club having fun, making a lot of mistakes. In relationship or in connection with other people. when you're promiscuous. This is not something that you're supposed to take into your 40s, 50s, and beyond. That's immature. That's when you stay immature throughout your life. That's not a mature type of connection. We evolve. We're supposed to grow up. All right. The third type of friendship, which is the best, is called virtuous friendship or friendship of the good. And this is where it is about reciprocity, equal give and take. Matter of fact, even the interest is equal. I am equally interested in you as you are in me. I see value in you just like you see value in me. You the coolest person I ever met, and you feel the same way about me. What do you need? You need something. You need some people to show up for your event. I'm with you. I have an event coming up too. Can you show up for mine? Absolutely. You know what I mean? When it comes to networking, if I come across somebody that's in the field that you're in and you're my virtuous friend, my true blue friend, we hang out, we are involved when each other has tragedy, when things happen with our children, we can trust each other. Okay? Things like that. We feel like family to each other. That's a virtuous friendship. Not that we are family, not that we have the same bloodline, but we have the energy of close kinship, like family. Like, yes, I'm on your side. I'm in your corner. I'm concerned about you. I know when you're having a bad day. I can feel you. That's true. That's the basis for even true love. Should have that kind of energy. Okay? It's not random. Love is not random, even if you meet somebody and soon after you meet them, you feel like you love them. It's because your authenticity, both people's authentic energy, authentic motives are shining through from the gate. From the gate, you just have a flow, a rapport. It's easy, right? It's natural. You're transparent to one another. That's virtuous. That's virtuous friendship. And they're very rare. It's rare that you're going to meet. You're not going to meet a whole tribe. No, you can build a tribe, of connections you make, but that's not going to be a whole bunch of people you meet at once. No. No. I don't care if you say, no, what I make friends in spiritual groups and everybody that claims to be spiritual, here's my quote, my finger quotes. Everybody that claims to be spiritual is not stable. And let me tell you something. And everyone that claims to be spiritual is not deeply spiritual. Some people know how to study up on a subject and then monetize. Come on, we already know a type of people that are like that all over the planet. They know how to monetize on anything. They know how to study it up real quick and take it over for monetary gain. That doesn't mean they're spiritual, no, or moral or godly. No. You've learned some facts. You've mastered the laws of it. You've mastered the wording of it. You've mastered the motions of it. But it's because you want the money that can be made from it. You're not really giving guidance for any improvement. You're building a business, and it's only a business. That's a difference. That's different. And no, that's not my tribe. Okay? Nor is my tribe a voodoo priestess. I mean, you know what I mean. I'm saying everybody in religion is not going to be your tribe. Because there's some people in religion that are so, I have a dear, dear, dear friend who was raised Catholic, and she has a sibling who is so rigid in her Catholicism that she is judgmental of every little thing anybody does or says. But God said, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." Like I said at the beginning of this, human beings cannot, um, we cannot be better than each other. We're not better than each other in our humanness. Does that mean your practices, your behavior is not better than my behavior? It could be. You could be better than me in that you're more attractive than me. You might be in a better physical shape than me. Your money might be better than mine. But can you be better in the fact that you're human and I'm human? No. Because we're all going to fall short of the perfection of God. So we shouldn't judge. If you find yourself stronger than somebody else, don't look down on them for it. If you look down on them, look down so you reaching for them to pull them up to where you think you're so elevated. But maybe just share with them some things that allow you to be more disciplined. That's really what it is. If you're more disciplined than the next person, inspire them. Share with them the principles of your success. I've had friends in the past, let me tell you this, and virtuous friendships don't come along often. I've had friends in the past that were very deft at fasting for long periods of time, but I've always been thin and youthful. I've always looked younger than I am, always. Because I never, like my mother only ate fruit, well, she ate mostly fruits and vegetables in her pregnancy with me. So I've always been a very healthy eater. I've never eaten a lot of bad foods until I had children. And of course, children love junk food. So, I've fallen off. But I'm getting back on my natural flow. But I'm saying that to say that my friends that were very good at fasting would never teach me what helped them to be so strong at it. Because especially because these were female friends. Male friends, if you're a female and you have male friends, they will help you however you need them to help you if they are true friends. If they are true friends, they're going to help you. You will benefit from that. But it wasn't until I met my dear friend, and she's not the same race as me, you know what I mean? But she was the first woman I ever met in my life that saw something in me and then basically pushed me to into that realm of potential. To the point, it was public speaking, but it was because of Black history, because I was sharing with her, she was my supervisor at the time, and I was sharing with her my family history and the strength of my mother's family when it came to the movement, any movement that our people went through for our freedom and upward mobility. And when she heard it and saw it, it was during Black History Month on campus, and she immediately had two events she wanted me to take part in and be a speaker in. And I've never been a spotlight person. Like, I've always been very background. I'm much more comfortable in the background. I've never been the type of person that just wants attention. And she was like, no, 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 you have to do this. You have to do this. We need to hear from you. She would not let me get out of it. My fear, you know how fear is, it jumps up like it's the truth. And that jumped up, and she said, no, I'm putting you down. I'm putting you on the program. She had the programs printed up, and I was on them, and there was no backing out. It was crazy. But from my previous experience has been when I've worked for women who would never share how valuable I was, who would never share that I was the one that solved the problem. I would always have to speak up for myself, who would never share, all the work, all the selfless hours, how I've never caused any conflict in the work, would never put a spotlight on me. And I am talented and selfless and giving and extremely hardworking. Okay. But this one person and still to this day, is the only person that has ever reached into my life, seen me for what I was, and basically put me where I should be. And because of that, she's my sister. I call her my sister. I love her like she is my big sister. She is my big sister. That's a virtuous friendship. And that does not come along. If there's anything, I mean, this woman, no, I can't, she naturally is concerned with how my children are. I'm naturally concerned with how her children are. I don't even know her children personally, but because I love her, her children are important. How they're doing is important to me. Whenever she's given me information on something health wise, I reach into what I know about fasting and herbs and diet. And I share it with her for her children's sake, for anybody in her family's sake, for her sake, because she is my virtuous friend. Okay. So anyway, the point of me mentioning this is for us to now take the power position in our lives when it comes to choosing who gets to be in our life. You get to choose that. It should always be a choice. Okay? It should always be a choice. I'm not even going to read my poems right now. I'll probably have to do a poetry poetry corner type of thing, poetry session that's only poetry. But I'm done with this talk. I love this talk. I hope that you will heed the advice and the information I've shared. I didn't get an education so I could be better than anyone. I really got an education. Now that I've gotten an education, I see it is only for shining light. It is only for sharing what I've learned with others so they can also be uplifted, okay? Let me know how you think about the content in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. And don't forget about my ebooks on Amazon. Peace.